Welcome back to the channel. My name is Hall and I do product and travel review videos. So today we're in my Rivian again. This is the third video that is around kind of the techie controls of the Rivian R1T. So today we're going to be going over the infotainment in the driving sector. So not only infotainment, but driver plus, adaptive cruise control, the different drive modes. It's going to be all along the driving experience for the Rivian R1T. So if you're interested in that, please stick around. We'll get into it right after the bumper. All right, so the way I did these three videos, so if you didn't watch the other two, the first one is around cockpit controls, so everything in kind of the driver's seat without the infotainment. The second video is the infotainment outside of the driver experience, and then this video is the infotainment and kind of the driver experience in all, because I wanted to separate in three. It would have been too long of a video because there is so much stuff packed inside these vehicles. So today we're talking about driver experience in general. I want to start out, I walked through kind of the owner's manual. That's how I made sure I could cover all the topics. So the first thing I want to talk about is the sensors. So there's environmental conditions can affect these, as most sensors that is the case. There's rear cross traffic alert, there's rear corner radar sensors, there's park assist. The park assist, the front and rear are 57 inches out, and then the sides are up to 29 inches out. So realize that that's the distance you're looking for, that they're the kind of preset. There's blind spot warnings on your mirrors. There's collision mitigation. There's forward collision warning, automatic emergency braking, and dynamic brake support for those as well. And then lane departure warning and lane keeping assist. All of that is inside kind of the sensors arena. So on the drive stalk, you can obviously choose your gear. You can activate cruise control, and then you can also activate driver plus. So the driver plus is the click down. If you double click twice, that's adaptive cruise control. And if you click once and then click down and hold, that activates your driver plus features. And we'll talk a little bit more about that once we get down the road. They have electronic stability control, can be turned off, and will turn off traction as well. So you can do that. Braking. Power on and off. When you approach, the doors will unlock and it'll be ready when it detects your approach. Off when you park and lock. So like the parking brake kind of auto is like an auto feature, and it adjusts by like your app being near the car, so it'll obviously turn that off. And yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, power on and off. Yep. Regen braking. This is one of my favorite things about this vehicle. This is what allows your brake calipers to last so long. I have my regenerative braking set on high. I've had it on high since I got the vehicle, and this is like the caveat. This is the fact I tell everybody about driving electric vehicles. I've literally touched my actual brake probably 3 times since I've had this truck, since, you know, for 3 or 4 months. The regenerative braking is so good. I know it changes in the winter. I know temperatures can affect it. I know high, like when your battery's full, it affects that. It certainly makes you drive differently. So when I drive a gas car, like my wife has a gas car, I forget that I gotta remember to brake, but that quickly comes back to you. But realize regenerative braking is one of the greatest things ever invented. Anti-lock brakes, electronic parking brake. When you put it in park, it turns on the electronic parking brake. So there's no button or anything. I was a little confused about that as well, but yeah, it's kind of auto turns on when you put the drive in park. Emergency deceleration, so press and hold the park button. Use the brakes. So if your brakes aren't working on the actual drive stalk, you would push the end in for like park and you hold, and that'll slow your vehicle down. So if your brakes aren't working for some reason, there's actually like an emergency way to stop the vehicle, which is pushing in the parking button and then holding it in. Push and hold. So that's really kind of interesting. So adaptive cruise control. This, you can maintain a speed and it keeps the appropriate distance. So it doesn't do left to right like Driver Plus. This is just forward, right? And it doesn't allow you to creep up on someone, and you can adjust the distance for that as well. You can pull down and hold on the driver stalk. Can't use with off-road mode, and use steering wheel right thumb controls. Roll up and roll down, so the rollers to change the distance, and then left and right buttons to change your speed. So I have a little cut-in screen there so you can see that in action. It works really well. It works like just all the other adaptive cruise controls. It's very intuitive, and I appreciate it. So before, I think I said, you know, it's a double click down. This is just a pull down, and you just pull and hold, and then that'll do. The Driver Plus is click and then click down again and hold. So this is only one, just pull down and hold. Highway assist. So this is kind of like the Driver Plus features. Its environmental conditions can affect these, so it won't always turn on when you want it to. If environments are awful because of the sensors, or if it's snowing or something and your sensors get blocked, it won't do that. It does everything the adaptive cruise control does, but it steers and keeps the vehicle centered. So same thing as adaptive cruise control, but it keeps you in the lane, and it actually turns the wheel for you, and all you have to do is keep pressure or keep a hand on the steering wheel. This is kind of like that auto drive. You can't use it with off-road or towing mode, so neither of those will work. Only works on select highways, so it uses your navigation and your positional, and it'll adjust to say that you can use it during this or not. So you push down the drive stalk twice and you release. So double tap, and then remember the adapters just push down and hold. If you move the wheel yourself, ACC will take over and keep current speed. So if you're in Driver Plus mode and you're just holding there and you want to switch lanes and you turn to switch lanes, it'll switch over to adaptive cruise, no longer Driver Plus, and then you're in control of keeping the vehicle in the center of the lane. But it will maintain your speed, which is nice. You could be prompted that the highway assist is no longer available due to road conditions, and you would then have to take over as well. So there will be specific roads, and I'll show you, like I tried to use Driver Plus on a non-highway, and it tells you no, but it goes right into adaptive cruise control mode. The Driver Plus experience is nice. It's interesting to watch the wheel turn and how it's using all the sensors on the vehicle while you're driving to tell you when cars are coming up the side, behind, around you. It does all of that itself. So it's you just have to keep your hands on the wheel. One hand on the wheel, you don't have to have multiples. So yeah, that's the adaptive cruise control and the Driver Plus highway assist. So if you have any questions on that, certainly leave them down below. Next thing I want to get into is the drive modes. So there is a ton of drive modes on this vehicle, and I kind of want to walk through each one of them and what they're specifically for. So I'm also going to record the screen for this because there's a lot going on. Okay, so the first is the all-purpose mode. So if I go up here, all-purpose mode. Okay, I turned off, thanks. This is what you're going to use most of the time. You can set it to a high, standard, or low ride height. This is when you want to use, and you can use in rain or snow, sits at standard ride height, and auto lowers for highway driving. So it'll adjust down to low if you're doing highway speeds, and it's all-wheel drive. So all motors are active at that point in time. Conserve mode, if I come down here to conserve mode, used for maximum battery range. Front wheel drive only, lowers the ride height as well, so you get more aerodynamic and your battery can last longer or go farther, and it's not recommended for rain and snow. So you can see you can run conserve at standard, low, or lowest, which is over on the right. New thing from a recent update is the auto ride height, or you can actually manually adjust it to stay in a certain ride height based on something you're doing or a preference. So that just came out, I think, last week. So if we go to sport mode, is it safe to lower the ride height? Yes. So the truck is going to go down a little bit here as we're doing this. So sport mode is only in low and lowest. It stiffens and lowers the suspension. It's optimum for handling, and it is all-wheel drive. So this is really for your high-end performance. Right now at low, you're sitting at 10.1 inches. So the next one, and the other thing is to mention this, and I said this, it stiffens up the suspension, so you will feel everything a little bit tighter, and you will feel like bumps in the road, things like that. Next is the towing mode. No trailer detected, check your trailer. Yeah, so once you plug your trailer in, it'll auto switch over to that. Towing, it helps you tow safely. It's all-wheel drive, maximum torque, built-in trailer brake gains for better stopping power. So once you plug your trailer into the back to the connections, it recognizes that, and it starts programming your entire truck for this for a better towing experience. You can use the right steering wheel controls, which is on the steering wheel. Same thing for the Driver Plus controls to apply trailer brakes if you have them. So if your trailer does have brakes, you're actually going to use the steering wheel just like in the Driver Plus features and the adaptive cruise control. That's where you can apply the trailer brakes, which is actually pretty amazing because, some of the other trucks, if you don't have that, you have to attach a different box or whatever, but it's right on your steering wheel. All-terrain mode. So we'll go off-road here, and we'll go off-road just so I can show you these. It prioritizes off-road performance. It's standard off-road mode and increases ride height and softens the suspension. So you can see off-road, all-terrain, and right now we're going up to standard height because we were at low. And soft suspension, I still have it on high. Brake regen. Oh, that's the other thing in towing mode. You can't have the brake regen on high as well, so that adjusts that. And then as we're moving up here, we'll go to. I'll wait for that to kind of finish its thing. There's multiple off-road modes as well, so it says optimized to explore with higher clearance and softer ride on uneven paths, so just a heads up there. Inside of this mode as well, you have soft sand, and if I click that, I'm not going to click it because I'm not in soft sand. So soft sand maximizes performance in deep sand. It's unique traction control, minimal stability control, reduced regen braking, and optimized for handling. So in a soft sand situation, if you're driving on the beach, as soon as you hit soft sand and you say I'm in it, it'll adjust all those things and it maximizes your performance in that situation. The rock crawl performance, it's maximum ride height. Ride height is set to high, balancing stability with maximum clearance, and then applies the ideal power to each motor as the truck traverses over the rocky terrain. So it'll be monitoring your situation as you're driving, and it's changing the adjustments on the truck to make maximum performance on a rock crawl situation. Rally mode is higher off-road speeds on gravel roads. So, it's going to be standard ride height, reduces traction control. So you're going to be able to drift out, slide out, and you're going for high speeds in a, non-road application. So, really, that's super fun stuff that I'm terrified of. And then drift mode, increases power to the rear axle while decreasing to the front. So you can obviously get the drift and the slide out. And then the traction control is also reduced. So all under the off-road mode, you have all-terrain, soft sand, rock crawl, rally, drift. So tons of options inside of this. And then, when you go in this, you're in highest, higher standard. And yeah, so those are all the different drive modes for the vehicle, which if you think about is kind of insane. And the being able to adjust the air suspension to different ride heights, pretty incredible. When it does it auto, when you're driving an all-purpose and it's lowering itself or raising itself, basically if you're coming off the highway waiting at a light, and then it raises itself back to standard from low or lowest. It's pretty crazy. I mean, it's really cool. It's something that is a big selling point for a lot of people, just knowing that you have an air suspension, because that's pretty ideal. But drive mode, that's everything I have for drive mode. So I have used the adaptive cruise control quite a bit. I haven't used the Driver Plus as much, but when I go on a long trip, I will be using that because it's a lot less stressful, and really it takes over and it does everything it should, and I really enjoy that. The sense of the off-roading, haven't been off-roading yet, but having all of these options makes me more comfortable to be able to do it, because it allows you, it gives you all the tiny advantages to do it well, even if you're a bit inexperienced. We do have a all-terrain course about an hour and a half from me, from where I live in Pennsylvania, so certainly want to maybe go ahead and check that out. I would love to go with somebody who knows what they're doing so they can like guide me, because I don't want to F up my truck. But yeah, so that's all the different drive modes. That's everything I had around driving. Once again, like I've said in multiple other videos, this truck is amazing to drive. It's one of the huge selling points for me, is just the ability to be amazing on the highway and then also be amazing off-road all in the same thing. That's pretty rare, you know, and a lot of that has to do with the technology. This is the spacey stuff. This is what allows it to be so different than other vehicles, is all the adjustments that say, hey, I'm going to crush it on the highway, be able to do, 80, 85, 70, 75 miles an hour, super comfortable, drives like a luxury sedan. And then, hey, if you hit a bunch of bad weather, you want to go off-road to get up in the mountains to camp, let's just change some parameters and go ahead and do that, and we'll do it with strength. That's insane. That's why this truck is so unbelievably amazing. And then all the other features that come with it. But driving, it's great. It's amazing. I love it every day I get in it. And those are the drive modes. So once again, if you have any comments, any questions, leave them down below. I answer all of my questions or comments. If you haven't checked out the other two videos around cockpit controls and the infotainment outside of driving, certainly check those out. I'll link them down below as well. And I think that's it. And we will catch you on the next video. All right, thanks.